than 3 million Australians are estranged from their loved ones.
I miss the best years of the kids' lives.
He's completely cut me off.
You're my dad, where have you been? Neither of us looked after our marriage at the end, and we lost it.
When all other attempts to reconcile have failed, it's time to try something really quite different. Neuroscientists believe that direct eye contact can communicate much more than just words. So in this bold new social experiment, we'll give estranged people the chance to come here. Where they'll spend 5 minutes looking into each other's eyes in search of a way to heal old wounds. Without words getting in the way, can the power of eye contact bring teenage friends back together? Can it heal the hurt of former best mates? And can it reunite the son with the dad who walked out on him 35 years ago? When the eye-to-eye contact is over, what happens next is up to them.
There was a lot of information to process without anything being said.
Will they decide to talk?
I'd like to know why the communication stopped, why our friendship stopped.
That's a lot of years wasted on just our pride.
Or will they walk away forever?
I can't do it. I can't.
First to enter the experiment tonight is 49-year-old Brett, whose dad walked out of his life 35 years ago. Since then, Brett has had many more family heartbreaks. He's now desperate to reconnect with the father he barely knows.
I'm from Keith, South Australia, born and raised in Keith for most part of my younger part of life. Had some great memories in this house. Spent the first few years growing up here. We initially lived here, it was the whole family in it, Mum, Dad, Sally and I. All the memories that came from here were all very positive, other than the moment where Mum and Dad split up. I was about 8 years old when Mum and Dad sat us down to tell us that they were separating. They told us about how love works and how that their love was different now and had changed. I remember Mum packing her bag, walking from at the front door, giving us a hug, and then that was it. Then she was gone.
Brett and Sally's mum moved over 200 kilometres away to Adelaide. They saw her from time to time, but it was their dad, Colin, who was the primary carer.
Dad was a station hand, worked on properties, and he'd come home completely exhausted and smelling like the land. I just wanted to be him. So there was a time we got to go into work with my dad. I got to play with animals and do things that were responsible, like making sure animals were in the yard properly and the gates were shut. And I just remember having a lot of fun. Stay there.
Life was pretty idyllic for Brett and his sister, but it wasn't to last. Just 6 months after their parents separated and Mum moved away, there was another dramatic change in the family dynamic.
Just the three of us, and then Dad introduced us to Lynn. That wasn't the easiest meeting and greeting. I thought she was going to be the replacement for my mother. That sat not very well with me. Yeah.
Colin went on to marry Lynn and they had a baby. But Brett didn't adjust well to his new family. Over the years, the tension grew. And when Brett entered his difficult teenage years, he pushed the family to breaking point.
My understanding from what I've heard was that Lynn had given Dad an ultimatum to say it was Brett or her and the baby that were going to leave. And of course, it's much easier if you're trying to save a relationship to get rid of me. So I went to working on a sheep station. The sheep station was about 20 hours away from home. I was 14 and everybody that I was working with me were already adults. So I learnt to grow up pretty quick.
Brett may have grown up, but that couldn't prepare him for the bombshell he was about to face when he came home from the sheep station on Christmas Day.
Dad only spent a couple of hours with us over Christmas lunch. He said he was leaving, and I couldn't understand why. Completely blindsided as kids. Had no idea that it was happening. I do remember asking him lots of questions, and I don't remember getting a satisfactory answer from that. So I remember Dad backing down the driveway, last kid standing there waving him off, then left and said, "Bye for now." And that bye for now turned to be forever.
Brett's dad left on his own, leaving stepmum Lynn to bring up Brett, Sally and their half-sister.
Sally and I grew much closer as a result of the dad leaving. We stepped up and made sure that we were respectful to each other but also honest to each other. When I came out as a gay man at 17, the first person I came out to was my sister. And when I told Sally, she just laughed at me. And I was a bit gobsmacked going, why is she laughing at me? And then she just turned around to me. She said, look, I can slap you. She said, I've always known. It's like, great, not a problem. So this is Sally's wedding day. This is me and Sally and Mum. She looked beautiful. She asked me to give her away because Dad wasn't here to be able to do that. So I gladly obliged to that. Sally was my constant. She was always there.
But not long after the wedding, Brett's most precious family relationship ended in tragedy.
Sally was about 24 when she fell pregnant with her daughter Alice. And as a result of the pregnancy, she started to have blackouts. The doctors discovered that she had a tumour that was putting massive pressure on her brain. Unfortunately, she succumbed to a brain tumour and died 18 months after Alice was born. The time when Sally was being buried, it was, I think, extremely emotional time for a lot of people. There were so many people here. There was people standing out here on the other side of this fence. The one missing was my father. He wasn't here to say goodbye. I really expected him to be here, even though we hadn't had any touch with him for a few years. I thought he would show up. That really hurt me. It gutted me to see that our family and everybody else was here, but him. So, sorry. I've struggled for many years with the fact that Dad hasn't been part of our lives. I really struggle with the fact that Sally's not here and she could be part of his.
Seeing his dad again may help Brett find closure for Sally's life and start a new chapter for his family.
I've got a couple of children I'd like to introduce him to down the track that he's probably not aware of. And I hope he has the opportunity to become aware of that and maybe meet them. And ultimately have some form of bond with them. The blood bond is the good one.
Today, Brett is hoping to end 35 years of absence from his dad, Colin, with 5 minutes of eye contact. But will the dad, whom Brett hasn't heard from for so many years, be open to this experiment?
G'day, Brett.
Hi, Ray.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
35 years.
Yes, it's been a while.
He's got no idea who you are, has he?
No, he has no idea about my life either and what's happened through that period of time, so...
Now, lots of people would say that you've got good reason not to be as sanguine as you are. I guess other 50-year-old men who hadn't seen their dad since they were 14 could say, well, bugger him.
Yeah, well, I would. I probably did for a few years.
Okay.
But, Ray, I'm all about, I suppose, forgiveness and hearing other people's stories. That, I think, is where I need to get some things clarified, is there's so many stories about what happened around that particular time. But I'm ready to meet him and to hear his stories if he wants to share them. Never too late.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thanks very much.
Let's go and see what happens.
We tracked down Brett's long-lost father, Colin, and invited him here today to look into the eyes of the son he last saw as a 14-year-old boy. We'll find out later if Colin has the courage to face his son. But first, let's meet a young dad who says that rock and roll cost him the best mate he ever had.
Being in a band, it's kind of like being in a relationship with 3 other people, so it can be pretty dysfunctional. But when it's good, it's great, and especially when you're playing with one of your best mates, like James.
12 years ago, Jeff was the frontman for a hard rock band that he'd formed with his best mate, James.
I met James at church. I think it was in like 97. Had the same kind of interests, so he was into music, I was into music, and so James was like, let's do a band and let's play the kind of stuff that we listen to. No, this is it. This was our Bible. The coolest thing about these guys was like, because they had that whole like anti-establishment, kind of like, all the messages were kind of like, fight the system, everything's wrong, I'm depressed. And so when you're a teenager, like that resonates. I'm not sure if I could use the word success with the band. I think I'd just say we played. we played some gigs. I sang and then James played bass, Doug played guitar, my brother played drums. Like we were a tight group. It was like 4 friends or 4 brothers. We wrote some good songs, I thought. And we enjoyed doing it. We enjoyed writing them, and it was fun.
In an effort to get their music out of the garage and into the record shops, the band members poured their own hard-earned cash into producing their first recording. That's when the trouble started.
There were probably a lot of indicators that things weren't going well. There were a lot of whispered, murmured conversations during rehearsal. And increasingly, there was more and more advice as to what I should do. You should sing this way, you should do this, you should try these lyrics, you should do whatever. You could feel that things weren't right.
James and the other members of the band began questioning Jeff's ability as a singer, and it was left to Jeff's brother to deliver the bad news.
So I got a phone call from my brother, and he was just like, look, dude, I'm really sorry, but you're done. And then he said, I've ended the band as a result of that. I guess the thing I didn't realise that I was perceived to be the problem. So the fact that they saw me as the issue, then it was easiest to get rid of me, I guess. At that point, I was just kind of I just cut the cord and that was it. And so I went on a different direction. I didn't want to see anyone involved with that for quite a while. I always thought the friendships would be okay, and that we would sort of be able to weather that storm. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
10 years after the band split, Jeff and James are yet to clear the air. So Jeff is hoping to look his old friend in the eye and see past their differences.
A lot's happened since I was kicked out of the band. Got kids, got married, but James wasn't there for it. I've missed his friendship a lot. It still annoys me that it's not resolved. Because even though things ended really badly and I was hurt by it, I think I'd want that chance to, clear the air and reconnect and bring things back to, where they could be.
To a fault, I was quite critical as to how I thought Jeff was performing in the studio. But I don't reckon I knew at the time how seriously Jeff took it and how much he loved that time with us. I think for a moment I forgot that it was also just 4 mates being together playing music. We were like brothers, so we had no problem kind of arguing like brothers, and you don't really talk to your mates like that. I feel I could have shown him a lot more respect than I did. Had we have just gotten over ourselves and actually said, dude, I'm sorry, made our peace, probably would have been a groomsman at his wedding, I'd know his kids. That's when I realised, I'm like, oh wow, I really did hurt his feelings.
It's now time for Jeff and James to enter the experiment. For 10 years, they've avoided each other. Can 5 minutes of silent eye contact heal the hurt and restart their friendship?
This whole thing has been in me for a long time. We're all getting older and you don't want to carry this stuff.
Walking into that room and seeing Jeff for the first time in so long, I'm a little apprehensive. I'd hate to hear that I really hurt him enough to hold on to it so long to have a great effect.
So when I first sort of met eyes with James, I just felt, man, you know, that's 10 years. Like, that's 10 years, you know, like, and dude, he's got a great beard. Like, I was thinking that, like, I was just like, you know, but, you know, we're men now. And, yeah, I lost 10 years with a friend, but also who's basically like, you know, my second brother. Yeah, it just seems so stupid.
It was powerful, that's for sure. His face said it all. You know, you could tell that there was a bit of regret, you know, anger maybe, but it felt like we were both coming here for a good reason, and that was to kind of reconnect for the better.
Jeff and James now have the option to talk. That's if Jeff can forgive James for being dropped from the band.
I feel like if Jeff chose not to come back in and chat with me, I would be hurt because it would illustrate to me that I hurt him enough for him to not want to reconnect. If Jeff really harboured that much hurt, it'd be silly to walk away from this and not say, I'm sorry.
Former best mates Jeff and James have just looked into each other's eyes for the first time in 10 years. Jeff still blames James for ruining the friendship.
I think when I came here, I wanted a bit of closure as to, like, you know, why did you drop me? Why, you know, was it that I sucked, or, you know, I couldn't sing or whatever? But at the end of the day, like, you see someone who, you know, you've lost 10 years with, it doesn't matter. Like, the thing that made me saddest was that it's so dumb to lose what we had. Like, I wanna go back and talk to him. Here's the chance to say what we both wanted to say for 10 years. This is a moment to talk things through, and you don't get these moments every day.
Mate.
Hey. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, me too, man. I think that's a lot of years wasted.
You lost 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a long time.
It's a long time.
To just not, for us to just not bother.
Yeah.
We'll never get that back. That sucks. Miss you though.
I miss you too. I was just thinking back to all the good times, and, you know, like when we were kids. And
yeah, Rage Against the Machine.
Rage Against the Machine. I put you through a lot of that.
Yeah, you did.
Too much.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, we lost all of that.
Yeah.
And it's like a shame it didn't work out. And maybe the whole band thing was my fault, and, you know.
It definitely wasn't just your fault.
Was it anything that I did in the end or not?
Nah. I think it was just the fact that we're just too proud. You know, it's my way or the highway, and you're like, no, it's my way or the highway. To me, from my perspective, it felt like it was my fault because I knew what I did. And that's the one thing I genuinely always felt sorry for, because I knew that you were so passionate about it, and you thought you were good, and you were. And as a mate, I could have shown a lot more respect than I did, and to lose something epic. We were like brothers. We weren't friends, we were like brothers.
Yeah.
I think that's why we fought so easily as well. I think my main regret was that it cost us our friendship for nothing.
For nothing.
Literally.
Yeah.
We were both so stubborn.
We're kids.
Didn't know anything.
No, I was a diva. Yeah.
And I was probably just straight up a dick. That's the thing that makes it laughable, is that it was over something as dumb as, like, a band, which was definitely going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
It was good fun.
It was great fun. We liked the music.
Yeah, it was good. This is cool.
It's cool.
This is sick.
Yeah, I should have done this years ago. So for that, like, I'm sorry.
Dude, I think we can split that straight down the middle. I've always been sorry. It's a lot of years wasted on just our pride. And let's not let another 10 go by.
Yeah.
I reckon. Sweet. Yeah. Meant a lot, dude.
Yeah.
Really did.
Earlier, we met Brett, who hasn't seen his father, Colin, since he walked away from the family 35 years ago.
Having contact with my dad or not knowing where he's at in his life has blocked me from being able to do things in my life. This is what today's about for me. I'm hoping that I can get some answers from him, just from his eyes, and he can get some from me if he's looking for any. But I'd like to be able to put an olive branch out there and to form a relationship. I think Dad's probably going to be just as nervous about this whole situation as me. I think he's probably got some why questions. Why am I doing this? Why am I looking for him? And why now?
Brett is looking for some answers. But will his long-lost dad be willing to give him any?
G'day, Cole.
G'day, Ray.
Hey, mate, nice to meet you.
Yeah, pretty good, mate.
You got a shearer's handshake. Have a seat.
Used to.
Used to?
Yeah.
Why are you here, Cole? Do you know why you're here today?
Yeah, I'm a young bloke, eh?
To meet your young bloke.
Yeah.
Do you know who your young bloke is?
Only very lightly, eh?
It's a long time ago since you've seen him.
Not too right, yeah.
And do you know what he does, or...?
No. The last little bit that I heard was he was working for the Bank of New South Wales. I mean, yeah. He did what I wanted him to do, and he was standing on his own 2 feet.
What do you think he looks like today?
His mother sent me a couple of photographs, and that's all I got. So,
Okay.
yeah. And the last photograph would have been he was with Sal and at her marriage, yeah.
So she married at 24,
Yeah,
and she died at 26.
yeah. His mother, she rang me when Sal died, and she was the only one, yeah. And then we got the obituary out of the advertiser.
So you didn't know about that, the funeral?
No.
No idea it was... Would you have gone back for the funeral?
If I was invited, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, where have you been for 35 years?
I haven't been anywhere.
But I'm just curious, as an outsider, when you say that you haven't seen your kids for 35 years, that's unusual.
But it was caused by something that I don't want to talk about, really.
Okay, all right. But did you ever send birthday presents? Did you ever send Christmas presents?
No, because of the situation,
Too hard?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I know these things are personal, but it's just
Yeah,
as an
yeah,
outsider,
no, that's fine.
it's just I'm surprised that you are pretty matter-of-fact about Dad shoots through, never to be heard of again. Are you going to tell him why you left?
Yeah, if he wants to know. Yeah,
Do you think he's got a right to know?
of course he has, yeah.
Did you think about him much?
On and off, yeah. Not every day, no.
Okay.
I don't want to be in his back pocket.
What do you want?
Just say good day.
What was you expecting coming here? Did you think, what the bloody hell does he want?
Originally, why?
Why? Yeah, okay.
I just hummed and hawed a bit, but I've got a wife now that is very family orientated, and she has been right behind me and saying, go in there, mate.
Yeah. And were you pleased that he reached out to you? Were you pleased that after so long you got the call saying,
Yeah.
I want to meet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything about it because the situation that I don't want to talk about, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope he's doing all right, eh?
Colin is keeping his cards close to his chest. But he's about to look into the eyes of his son for the first time in 35 years. Even a tough old bushy ought to be moved at the sight of his own flesh and blood.
I want Dad to know that I'm not angry with him, that the communication channels to me are open and will remain open, and that what happens between us is between us, not everybody else that has had a say in it. I hope that he's going to go and enter this with an open mind. I suppose that's the part, not knowing about whether he's ready for it. I know that I've been through years of stuff to be able to give me that strength. I don't know whether he's ready for it. There was a lot of information to process just then, without anything being said. He's, as I remember him, for me, it was just about seeing him, truly seeing him. I knew it was going to be hard for him to sit there. But I'm so glad that I got to see him.
How did that feel, Cole?
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good? What do you know that you didn't know 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, big bugger, eh?
He's a big boy, isn't he? What did you see in his eyes? Anything?
Connection.
Connection, did you?
Yeah,
What does that mean, mate?
everything. We both want to connect.
Okay. And did you think about the little boy you knew?
Yep,
What do you think?
Christ.
Eh? Yeah. Things have changed, haven't they?
That's for sure. Yeah.
Now, why are you so emotional, mate?
A long time. Yeah.
Has Colin finally realised what he's missed out on all these years. "49-year-old Brett has just looked into the eyes of Colin, the dad who walked out of his life 35 years ago.
Now, why are you so emotional, mate?
A long time. And it went better than I thought it would go. I just didn't know, you know. Yeah.
Will the connection Colin felt be enough to help him open up and talk about the death of his daughter Sally?
I want to be able to tell him about some of the important events that he hasn't been around for. Some of that will be around Sally, around her illness, what her desires in life were. For me, it's just stages of my life I need to share. Excited to see what the future holds.
Back again.
Thanks for coming back.
No worries.
Yeah.
All the time. Got a few photos here for you, mate. That's all I've got.
Of when we were little.
Yeah, Sal's on there too.
But obviously, we were much younger. Oh, okay.
Did you see the photo of yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You've grown so soon, mate, eh?
a lot. Yeah.
Too long, eh?
Yeah. Hell of a phone call to get, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I say, Brett would like to see you. Now, there's a magic name I haven't spoken for a while.
Yeah.
My first word was why, you know. And then Maggie said, his family, mate. Go.
So, do you still have the why question?
No, not anymore, no.
Okay.
I wanted it to happen, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. There's no way I want to start with questions. So I don't need to know stuff that happened through all that time. And
Yeah.
stuff you want to share as we move forward.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of information that I want to share with you if you're up for it.
Yeah, for sure.
I was lucky enough to have two kids, a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
She's 10 this year, and a little boy who's 5.
You're still married, or?
No, I've never been married. So
Oh, righto, fair enough.
I'm a gay man, so I came out as gay at 17, so
Yeah,
be okay with that. So
Yeah. not a worry, mate.
cool.
You breathe the same air as me, mate.
Okay. Suzanne, who's the mother to my kids,
Yeah, she's a good mate, you got?
she unfortunately is no longer with us. So,
Right.
So she passed away in 2012.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry to hear it, yeah.
these are, I suppose, part of our life journeys and,
It's one of them things.
and those sorts of
yeah.
things. So
Everybody's got a number, mate.
it certainly does.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you see the photo? I got a photograph, the last
yeah?
photograph with Sal. You were dancing there with Sal at her wedding.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was, I gave Sally away at her wedding because,
Yeah. That was the last time I saw her, see, and then next thing, another bombshell, and Sally's no more.
Yeah. So, and she had a young baby.
Yeah, that's right,
so-
Alice, is it? Yeah.
Alice, so she's 22 now, so she's got a young fella of her own. He's just turned 2.
Oh, righto, yeah.
So,
So that means great-grandfather.
yeah. So,
After grow a beard.
now you're feeling old.
Yeah.
So, I'm working out what the next part of my life and journey is going to hold for me, so...
Good.
And there's lots of people that I want to have in there, and you're one of those.
Yeah.
So,
That's great. Yeah.
the one thing I want to make clear is whatever we have going forward is between us.
Yep.
And not everybody else that's been in our lives. And I don't want anybody else's
Yes.
opinion of our relationship mattering.
Good as done, mate.
I haven't heard a lot about you over the years, and
Oh, that's right, yeah. I was a bad boy.
you're a bad boy in other people's eyes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You weren't in mine, Dad. So
No.
you never were in mine. I'd like to think that we can start building a relationship moving forward. I don't think we can...
That's what I like.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for coming along, Dad. Thank you very
Anytime,
much. Thank
mate.
you.
Thanks again, eh? Been in a good paddock anyway.
Fucking good panic.
So what do you reckon, Brett?
I'm in a really good place, Ray.
Okay.
It's good to see Dad.
Yeah.
It really is.
Now, you said to us many times beforehand that you wondered why Dad wasn't there.
Yeah, I did, but I'm not sure that that's a simple answer. I think it's a lot of scenarios and a lot of background that led to that. But one day I'll hear from Dad exactly what his version of events is. A lot of information, I think, is to share with over time and going to be over a quiet beer. The future is going to be as strong as we want to make it from this point forward, I think.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, so has it been worthwhile?
Too right.
Most
The meeting?
definitely. Most definitely.
Too right, yeah. Best thing that happened.
The best thing that happened.
Yeah, got him back, eh?
Got him back. All right, good luck.
Thanks, mate.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And
Ray,
Brett, good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you
You've got to
very
go.
much.
There's a place down here you can have a beer. It's all yours.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like so many new parents, the final participant in our experiment tonight found that having babies changed everything about her life. In an attempt to hide the struggle she was having with postnatal depression, she lost her best friend.
I guess I just always assumed that a best friend like Belinda was going to be someone that I would grow old with, babysit our grandkids together, basically stay friends forever. But it all fell apart.
38-year-old Melbourne mum Sherry hasn't seen her former best friend Bindy in 15 years.
Bindy and I we were a package. We came as a pair. Pretty much inseparable from when we were teenagers through to mid-20s. I mean, we saw each other, I think, almost every day for years and years on end. In terms of closeness, I think only family give you that kind of feeling, and maybe one or two friends throughout your life if you're lucky.
Bindy had her babies when she was young, and Sherry was a big part of that family.
This house was pretty much where we spent all of our time. It felt very much like a second home to me. Once the two kids were there especially, I've got a lot of memories of being the honorary auntie. But I guess it makes me feel a little bit sad as well, because it makes me think that this is how it should have stayed. We were a team.
When Sherry started a family of her own, she suddenly went from being an honorary auntie to a struggling mum.
So I was 25 when I fell pregnant with my eldest daughter, Paris. I was never expected to have kids or planned to, so I think I struggled quite a bit with some postnatal depression. Just found myself pretty withdrawn. I don't think I let anyone in on the fact that I was struggling. It was definitely something I wasn't advertising to anyone. Didn't tell my partner, my mother, and don't think I even spoke to Belinda about it. Belinda was always the super mum, so there was always that little bit of a struggle to tell her that this isn't quite what I was expecting. I don't even think it was until years later that I realised just how shut off I'd become.
Sherry managed to get over her depression, but never reconnected with Bindy. It's something she now regrets.
I've got two daughters now, Paris and Willow. Having teenage kids, seeing those friendships that they have that are just the be-all and end-all that you'd die for, it just made me think a lot about the friendships that I've had. What I'd lost, what was missing from my life. I think that looking into each other's eyes, what I would be really hoping is that Belinda and I could turn back the clock and take things back to exactly where they were when we left off. Just having her back in my life, I think, would be enough.
Today, Sherry's hoping to look her old friend in the eye for the first time in 15 years and to find a way back into each other's lives.
I think taking this step today, reaching out a little bit, might just be enough to at least get us in contact again. I'm looking for recognition that the friendship is still there. I'm hoping not to see any resentment or anger or anything like that, but just maybe a little bit of hope.
But after Sherry cut Bindy out of her life with no explanation, will Bindy feel it's worth the long trip from Broome to reconnect with her ex-bestie? "38-year-old Sherry is hoping to look into the eyes of a former best friend, Bindy. She cut her off 15 years ago.
So much happened when we stopped being friends. I think I struggled quite a bit with some postnatal depression after I had my eldest, and I never could explain it at the time. I guess I was a little bit embarrassed to say exactly why I was struggling, so I really hope that she'd be able to understand that.
Bindy has finally arrived from Broome and is about to look into the eyes of her former best friend, Sherry. Will Bindy finally get the answers to why their friendship ended so suddenly?
There was just no communication. She had her first child and within a few weeks just stopped answering my calls and messages. I definitely had a lot of tears, a lot of nights sort of laying in bed just going, what did I do? What did I say wrong? Did I not do something? Did I not say something? And it's haunted me for a lot of years. I'd like to know why the communication stopped, why our friendship stopped, because I think the friendship we had is definitely worth treasuring.
I really don't know what her reaction to me is going to be. I can make a pretty good guess on how I'm going to feel, but there's that little element of worry that the feelings aren't going to be reciprocated.
Come here, you. Oh, it's so good to see you, girl. Still you. Yeah, I haven't changed. A few more tattoos, but I'm still me. Me too. You're amazing. You look like you. 16-year-old you would be so impressed with you right now.
Oh, God. Oh, this is too intense. I just went, oh, my God, I've got to do this.
So glad you did.
Why did we wait so long? Why did I wait so long? I don't know what happened. I'm glad that you came. I really am. I'm so glad to see you. I really am.
Why'd you leave, though?
I don't know. I really don't. I was never going to have kids, you knew that. And God, it was harder than I expected. God, it was harder than I expected. And I'm too proud. I couldn't tell anyone that, especially you. You were super mum.
No, no.
So that's something to talk about. Maybe not straight away.
So it wasn't me? I didn't do anything?
No, not at all. It was me. It was me, definitely.
I missed you all.
I missed you so much. Oh.
Your beautiful children. Yeah, they kind of grew up.
They did. My babies are 14 and 13 and they're enormous and I'm so proud. We've got a lot of catching up to do.
We have got bulk catching up to do, about 15 years.
I think so, at least.
For me, you.
All right, shall we go?
We shall, love. Let's do this.
Next time on Look Me in the Eye,
The phone had been disconnected, completely disappeared. Pretty devastating, actually.
a daughter desperate to reconnect with the dad who's let her down her whole life.
I believe in forgiveness and second chances.
Also next week,
I haven't seen him now for over 40 years. I'm now looking for him.
a search for the son left behind in a marriage breakup.
I want to be his dad. I want to be his old man.
And
I didn't identify as being gay. I identified as being bisexual.
confusion over sexuality tore these childhood sweethearts apart. Can the power of eye contact heal the hurt and bring back their friendship?